Hey, goddess, welcome back. This is Andrea with You, Our Mind, Body, Soul. I'm so happy to be back here with you today to talk about emotional control and your goddess frequency, tapping into your goddess frequency through your emotions. When it comes to your journey of feminine embodiment and stepping into your divine feminine energy and feeling comfortable with that, we need to be comfortable with our emotions. And I can tell you for the longest time, I was not an emotional person. I wasn't super connected with my emotions. I was a very masculine in my approach to life and how I dealt with things because for a very long time, I underwent a lot of trauma. There was a lot of emotional instability in my childhood and in my adult life. So personally, I felt like avoiding my emotions and kind of putting them inside of a cup and not touching that cup was the safest route for my emotional and psychological well-being. And for a long time, that method served me well. But as I really started to grow and evolve in the deeper work, inner work that I was doing with myself, I stopped being afraid of my emotions. And this opened up a whole new world for me. Because the thing about emotions is that they are actually related to the element of water. So we have different aspects of ourselves. The body is related to earth, the mind is related to air, the spirit can be related to fire, and emotions are the water, right? So water can be vast, water can be uncontrollable, water can be mysterious. You can go deep inside of water and get lost. You can come to the surface of water and find clarity. There's so many things about the ocean itself, the water of our planet, which we as the divine feminine are all reflections of. There's so much about the ocean that we don't know, right? And on a deeper level, the outer space and the cosmos are a reflection of the water and the emotions that we have running inside of us. So there's so much beauty when it comes to the element of water. And a lot of times people are afraid of their emotions because it can be so untamed and there's so much mystery. And this is also the same reason why we are taught to be afraid of our divine feminine energy. Okay. So I've decided to make this video on emotional control because if you want to enact your personal power as a divine feminine being in this life, it's very important that you have control over your emotions. When I look at people that don't have control over their emotions to an extent where they are being naturally and immediately triggered by something outside of their environment and they lose control over themselves, I personally see that as a form of weakness. And that is just my personal opinion, which you came to this channel to watch. So I'm going to just keep it 100 with you. If you have an emotional response, like on that moment, towards something that someone did to you or said to you, and you cannot control your emotions, then that person has power over you. All right. And I understand I'm not saying that there are certain circumstances where, you shouldn't be, that you should be emotionally responsive to, like certain situations. Yes, they elicit an emotional response. But on a day-to-day average, we should be able to be so in tune and in control of our emotions that people that are outside of the vibration that we reside in through our goddess frequency do not have governance over us, right? And emotional control and being in tune with your emotions go hand in hand. So having emotional control is not as simple as just taking a remote control and saying, I'm just going to turn this off or I'm just going to turn this down. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you want to cultivate awareness with yourself and allow the waters that run through you emotionally to actually move through you. If you see the water in your body and your body as a sacred chalice, a cup where you are holding energy, you are pouring that emotional energy out of you, you are receiving emotional energy, this will help you get an idea of how to cultivate that emotional awareness so that you can control your emotions in the circumstances where they need to be controlled. So, the first thing that I invite you to do when it comes to emotional control is to just sit with the things that elicit emotional responses to you. And what I want you to do is take a look at the spectrum of emotions that you are experiencing. So the spectrum can range anywhere from fear all the way into happiness and love. So there are certain things in our life that make us naturally feel afraid. And there are certain things in life that we fear because we don't allow ourselves to look at that fear and really assess why it has so much control over us. So ask yourself, are the things that you actually fear, are you aware of those things? And then ask yourself, how much control over your daily decisions do those things have for you? Do those instances and do those people have over you? And then the things that you love on the other end of the spectrum, how much do you invite them to motivate you in your decisions and along your path? And this will give us the opportunity to see how we can utilize our emotions in order to bring us along our journey. All right. So when you have emotional control, you are able to win in life. Because if you are in the pursuit of something, or if you are trying to attract something, which is what the divine feminine does, we attract. Everything that you attract is a reflection of what you have going on inside. And so, as you are bringing your awareness to this chalice, this sacred chalice of emotional fluid energy, which is our sexual energy as well as women, I want you to ask yourself, is this of a goddess frequency? So, is the energy that I contain in my body, is it governed by something outside of myself? Or is it something that is governed by where I stand at a baseline level without the influence of the external world? And a great way to know this is by assessing your thoughts and being aware and being present with your thoughts. Because a lot of times, once we have the emotion, then our thoughts start to kick in. And then that just sends our emotions down the path of whatever our thoughts choose for us. I want you to think about a time in which you had an emotional response to something that you weren't expecting. Maybe you have fallen in love and you weren't expecting to fall in love. You were called for something that you weren't expected to be called for, like an opportunity came up and it surprised you, or you got rejected for something, but you thought you were going to be accepted. And then think about the thoughts that preceded that experience. And think about how your thoughts then shape the experience that you had afterwards. Our emotions they are energy. They move, they flow, or they are meant to flow like water, or they can become stagnant like water. And if you look at stagnant water, we know that it is dirty oftentimes because it is not flowing, it is not cleansing. So when we have emotions in our body that we are not addressing or that we are not allowing to flow, it creates stagnancy inside of the body. And this is one of the most important things that you'll learn as the divine feminine and in your inner work as the divine feminine, because it is our natural constitution to hold and to be receptacles of energy. And I've talked about this before. Our wombs naturally hold energy. We give birth, we hold life, we have our womb cycles, but we also purge every month. We have our heart space, our breast is also a receptacle. We hold a lot of energy in this area, and that goes from multiple different places in the body. And one thing that I've learned from my inner work and just going really deep with my personal journey is that we are so powerful and we are so complex that we hold things inside of our bodies, whether it be your goddess body, energetic body, which we've talked about, or whether it be your physical body. We hold these things for lifetimes, and we hold these things from when we are children. And so as you develop a more intimate relationship with the waters that flow through you, you're able to know when something needs to be released. So one of the aspects of having emotional control is to know when it's time for a good release. And as a rule of thumb, I find that it's healthy to release daily. And this can be seen as a form of astral hygiene, energetic hygiene. So naturally, it is just a good habit, a good ritual to pick up just to be cleansing your energy daily, whether it be Palo Santo or sage, or whether it be grounding, or whether it be doing it intentionally through your baths, or whether it be sitting with a candle, sitting with your breath. You want to be cleansing your energy daily if you want to keep your frequency high. If you want to keep your goddess frequency high. That way, you're not collecting other people's energy and carrying it over day after day after day. So when you're in the process of conjuring your future self, you know that you're conjuring something from your natural divine baseline state. And then when you have instances where your baseline state is being challenged, you are so well cultivated and you're so healthy in your emotional state that you can bounce back and you can come back to baseline. And we've talked about vibe checking ourselves and just cultivating that intimacy with self. So one of the ways to get better about emotional control is to be aware of the things that you are absorbing in your body, especially when it comes to food. If you're eating a lot of low vibrational food, junk food, if you're doing a lot of animal proteins, if you're doing a lot of sugars, this is going to drop your frequency down. So for me personally, I know that if I eat too heavy or if I eat too much, if I eat too many processed foods, that it just kind of depresses my energy and I'm not as luminescent as I would like to be. I'm not as shiny, I'm not as positive or energetic or motivating. So I know that this is affecting my emotional state. Because when I am emotionally higher and when I'm vibrant, I'm able to create more. I have more joy and I have a more positive outlook on my life. So food is a very big part of how I maintain emotional control. So I'm to the point where when I'm PMSing, I really don't have mood swings like how I used to, because I've been able to control what I put in my body. And my cycles are easier. Like it just makes life easier. So you'll notice that a lot of people that are miserable or lost in life, a lot of times those people have poor health habits when it comes to nutrition. And I'm not knocking anybody or saying, that I'm not judging anyone, but I'm here to talk about goddess frequency. And when you're on a goddess frequency, you just learn how to feed yourself with things that make you feel vibrant. And that's why I have created the Mind, Body, Soul Cleanse, for you to gain that nutritional awareness about what your body needs, and also what you need for your mind and what you need for your soul in order to maintain your goddess frequency and to cleanse and heal yourself, right? And then also absorbing people's energy. So the people that you hang around are almost as important as the food you eat and the things that you expose yourself to. Because to some extent, whether or not we realize it, we are all empathic, which means that we are all receptive, that we are all perceptive of other people's energies. So if you want to maintain a goddess frequency, be aware of how other people's energies are affecting you. Okay. And emotional control comes in to play when you are trying to create something, when you want to manifest something, in your ability to be consistent with how you look at what it is you are trying to create. You don't want to be tied to the immediate outcome of things and immediately what you see. You always want to give yourself time when it comes to manifesting to adopt emotional patterns that become habits that align you with the future that you desire. And this is one of the biggest goddess alchemical keys when it comes to creating the life that you desire to live. It is creating emotional habits that then become mental habits that then turn up in the physical reality. And this is just the spiritual, scientific nature of how life works. And there are a lot of books that talk about this. If you can control your inner environment and create a place in which you, an internal environment in which you are always at a certain level of happiness, not just contentment, and definitely outside of melancholy, like you want to be charged energetically in a positive way. So whatever that takes for you, it could be as simple as having a daily ritual. It could be as simple as, having exposures to things that fulfill you on a deeper level. And I'm not just talking about cheap dopamine hits. So there's a difference between finding pleasure and finding joy from something that hits deeper than a 30-second dopamine hit, or something that you're going to forget about an hour from now. The deeper your pleasure is, the more it's going to seep into your pores, and it is going to have a more long-term vibrational effect on your body, on your chalice, and in your emotional watery environment. So remember that when you are cultivating something, when you are creating something, when you want to see something existing in this physical reality, you can use your divine feminine energy by controlling the vibration that you emit. Get your sunlight, get your foods, get your positive energy, and watch your thoughts, because your thoughts, they tint the emotions that are moving through the body. Emotions at the end of the day is energy in motion. And remember, we want it to be in motion. So find ways of getting that energy moving, create, move, dance, sing, share, embody, breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay? And make sure that you are releasing so that those things don't become stagnant. And when you have stagnancy, find water, sit by water, allow that water to just enhance your frequency and inspire the flow. There's a lot of psychological research around just sitting by a body of water. It naturally enhances our emotional state. So be a student of yourself, be a goddess devotee of yourself, to find what really gets your juices, literally and figuratively, flowing. Find the rituals that speak to your inner goddess, and I encourage you to have fun with it. That's all I have for you today. Please like, share, and subscribe if you love this information that I'm sharing with you, and I'll see you in the next one. One love.